Good afternoon, what's up, America? Hope you guys enjoyed my show I made. But I'll be real in a second, But sooner I'm not gonna be pumping out those every day, guys. I might go through every 2 days maybe, but you better enjoy this videos watch account when Ivan's poor, right? Because when I'm gang, I'm not making those right. Whether I'm a movie star, I'm most likely a movie star VJ, or I'm a pro athlete, I'm gonna forget about this channel once I'm a pro athlete, guys, right? Yeah, I'm not trending with VJ right now. Yeah. I guarantee you all the Americans become crazy. Ivan, like, why would you start a hockey league out of all the pro leagues? I'm Canadian. It's a Canadian pride thing. Obviously, basketball is too tough. Like, I'm only 6 feet. Like, basketball, if you really want to be good, you have to dunk and everything. Dunking at 6 feet is tough. Basketball's tough. Football is amazing, obviously, but football, you have the injuries. You get injured and everything. And the one position I would want to play at football would be quarterback. But quarterback is fucking tough. Like, accuracy, it's too tough. And hockey is the greatest glory, in my opinion, out of all sports. I think it's the greatest glory, hockey, right now. Yeah, what you show us, man, if that's you with no training, that's pretty impressive. I know, I have the genes, guys. Because I just have to train, right? Train really hard. Stick handling, right? Shooting, yeah. Yeah. I might get into beer. A 40 after this, but I got a 40. I'm $5 short, but I should have enough for my cans, but I don't want to take that risk. I might get a 40 after this, right? The store. Yeah. Biden will skip Bayless, Shannon, and all those guys, American guys who talk about sports stage. Will they be buzzing about your league? Well, of course they will. Even though they don't care that much. They don't care that much about hockey compared to basketball and football. Even those guys will be buzzing about my league, and they'll be watching the games. Yeah, even though we don't really care that much about hockey as American guys, we'll watch you play hockey. It's glory, yeah. It's still entertaining shit. Listen, the whole world's buzzing about Ivan as a player, but yeah, there's nothing worse than the world buzzing about Ivan as a hockey pro athlete, and I flop, man. First season, I only put up I have like 5 goals. 20 points, but just because you don't do that well for a season, if you keep training, Ivan, you might eventually become better and you become a star. But it might take some time, Ivan, for you to really hone your craft. Because Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team, guys. I'm not lying; it's a fact. I saw a documentary. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team, and he worked hard at it, and he was drafted in the NBA. in the what? The early 80s, I think. Yeah, like 1979, 1980, he was drafted in the NBA, Michael Jordan, and now he's the greatest basketball player ever in history. Amazing story. Yeah, yeah. Michael Jordan is 6-0 in championships. LeBron James is 3-6. Yeah. Michael Jordan is 6-0. He made the championship 6 times. He's 6-0. Whereas LeBron James is 3-6, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. LeBron James has more points. He beat some of Michael Jordan's points. Yes, he did, but there's context. Michael Jordan didn't play in the NBA for as long, and he went to the MLB. Don't forget that, guys, right? So yeah, you have to keep that into context. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. I don't think it's debatable. LeBron James is amazing, but he's not Michael Jordan. Oh, yeah. He's not Michael Jordan. I think all you Ivan, we all agree. Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever, man. It's not even debatable, man. Yeah. 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 But I have the genes that all these legendary players and all these pro leagues don't have. These legendary players who are amazing athletes don't have the God gene, man. I have the God gene. I just work hard at it. I could be a legend in my own league. My goal is to be I want to be like a Wayne Gretzky in my league. Yeah. Then the great one in the SHL, right? Yeah. That's my goal, obviously. Or the magnificent one, Mario Lemieux. Yeah. Mario Lemieux was called the magnificent one, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right, what you show us, that's magic, man. If you train, you'll be, and you're a star player, I'll be putting on a show on the ice, obviously. If I'm a star player, that's why Sidney Crosby and Carmen they'll be crushed, obviously. But some of the NHL athletes will be applying in my league for maybe a coaching, GM, sport anchor job, and some of them probably will get opportunities to work for my league. But I mean, chances are more players are going to apply for the sport anchor position in my league. The sport anchor is not risky. You don't have to worry about losing your job. Whereas GMs and coaches, some teams might take a chance on some players who work in the NHL. But I told you, as a GM and a head coach, if you don't win games, after 2 seasons, you're gonna fire. There's no stability with coaching and being a GM. It's risky shit. You have to win games and win championships, otherwise they're gonna fire your ass, right? But chances are the league will hire guys with experience, not players who have no experience. But they might take a chance on some players, right? You never know, right? Don't let me that. Yeah. Yeah. That's why the NHL players are going to be crushed. Oh, if you do that, you're going to crush us, man. We miss an opportunity. I would love to play in your league and be a legend in your league. Yeah. You crush. It would have made way more money in my league. Yeah, but why don't you just pay them what the NHL pays them? Because the hockey athletes deserve more than what the NHL pays them. Because the truth is, even though the NHL is one of the big four, it's the smallest league of the big four, and the NHL athletes are the most underpaid pro athletes in out of the big four leagues. They make their millions, but they make the lower end of it. They don't make like the kind of money that the star players in the NBA and the NFL are making. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes peaked at $50 million a season. Sidney Crosby only peaked at 12, man, and he's a generational talent. He only peaked at 12 million in the NHL. McDavid peaked at 13.5. He's making 12 million McDavid in the NHL. And those guys deserve like that like $30-40 million a season salary, but the NHL can't afford to pay those guys that, right? They don't have enough cap space to pay those guys that. It's a successful league. It's making its billions, but it's not making the money that the NFL and the NBA are making. That's why the NHL athletes are the most underpaid pro athletes out of all the pro athletes. Star players make like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the NHL. which is showed a lot of money, but it's not the money the other guys are making in other leagues, right? Yeah. That's why I'm going to have a $200 million salary cap. That way the players get paid good money. But I'm not going to go any higher than that. I'll give the teams raises, but like $13 million raises. I'm not going to raise it by like $50 to $100 million and have these athletes do it, right? $200 million salary cap's enough for the players. That way they get paid good money. More money than making NHL. I'm giving the Star Players League revenue. Yeah. What's the peak in your league? 32 million is enough for the peak. But those are for the amazing talent, obviously, on the ice, but they're not non-generational talent. Players who are amazing players, but they're a bit more normal, but they're still amazing players. They put on a show, and those guys don't peak any higher than 32 million for those guys. So guys like Malkin, McKinnon, obviously Brad Marchand, those guys can get their $25-30 million a season. Amazing fucking talent, but they're not generational talent. They're not rare like you need talent like Crosby and McDavid and Ovechkin, right? But they're still amazing talent, almost as good as a generational talent. Those guys don't peak in higher than maybe $30 million. That's good enough. They don't make financial. They make like they're 8-9 in the NHL, those guys, right? But it's too late for all you guys. Don't hit me, guys. Say, yo, I mean, there's no fucking difference. If you do that, you're gonna crush us, man. Like with a side tension in the NHL, with legends in the NHL. But I want to be inducted into the SHL Hall of Fame, Ivan. Yeah, they want to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in my league and make all that money and be world famous, right? Yeah. The athletes also get speaking deals, right? Tell the GM to put in the contract. The athletes also get speaking engagement opportunities, as people are going to want to interview the athletes. Obviously, people are going to want to interview the athletes. Yeah, because the fame for my league is so crazy. Obviously, what the players might go speaking at a lot of places around the world, and they're going to get paid. They're going to get paid a lot of. They're going to make a lot of extra money on the side speaking too. So they have speaking money too, right? They're making extra money, obviously, on the side. Yeah. Will you donate to charity, Ivan? Yes, I will. Every season, put some money towards charity. Yeah. How much we donate, Ivan? Donate a good maybe every season. I can tell the league, donate a good maybe $500 million every season to charity. Considering the league's making all that money, put money into charity. Donate to charity. That's out of my pocket, honestly, right? It's good to give back. I don't want to be a greedy pay like that, right? It's good to give back, obviously. Yeah. That's insane. Yeah. The press will be crazy. Oh yeah, the press is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm practicing. They interview the press. How's Ivan O'Mara on the ice? Ivan's very productive on the ice. The coach talks about me, talks about like the other two star players. And the whole was going crazy, and they interview me, and I'm putting on a show when they interview me, obviously. Yeah, man, like it's not fair. You're gonna crush us, man. Like we're not as famous as these players in your league, and we missed out on opportunity. They missed out on the opportunity. It's too late for those NHL athletes, right? Too late for all those guys. Because I might be king when I'm 50, guys, right? That's like 16 years from now. Obviously. So McDavid and Brad Marchand and Ovechkin, those guys will be like, what, 55, 53, 54. They're like old now. They can't play anymore. Yeah. They can't play right now. Yeah, I remember. They missed out on the opportunity, obviously. It's too late for those guys. Yeah. There. Yeah. Like, what would it be like when the sport anchors talk about the players and everything? Well, something like TSN, right? You know, when TSN they talk about players, the panel talks about players. Yeah, like it's crazy, man. Yeah, that's why the board guards. I mean, yeah, if you want the sport anchors buzzing about you, Ivan, and talking about you, is Ivan the best player in the SHL and everything? You have to be a star player, obviously. And coaches debate, the sport anchors debate who's the best coach in the league, who's the best player in the league. Ivan, if I'm assuming I'm a star player, who's the best player? Ivan or these other star players? And it's crazy buzz. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Sarah. That's why the star players deserve a lot of money, because they're like they're what they're the ones who the fans love the most, and the ones who are putting on a show on television, and they help their team win games and win championships. That's why they get paid. If they get greedy and they want like 30 million for 10 seasons, I'm not going to pay them that. They have to take pay cuts. Get 30 million for 2 seasons, and I thought they bring it down to 27. And they'll gladly take pay cuts. Ivan, it's fine. We don't mind taking pay cuts. Like, you're paying us more. Yeah, I'm paying you more enough money, but you gotta take some small pay cuts, guys. That way you create cap space to pay other players. Other players have to get paid too. Like, some good players will want $50 million a season. They want to get paid too, right? Ivan, what kind of deals will Ivan, can you sign good players for 10 years too? Yeah, you can. But their deals are not as big, obviously. Good players will be signing anywhere from like 80 million to maybe $30 million deals. But that's a lot of money. That's how much star players are making in the NHL. Good players are making the contracts that the star players are making in the NHL in my league. So they're still getting paid. Obviously. But after that mega deal, they also have to take pay cuts too, as 100 million, 120 million, 130 million, 90 million in career earnings for a good player is enough money for them to never have to work again if they're smart with their money. Now they have to take pay cuts, but they don't have to take as big of pay cuts. They can still get paid their 5 million, 4 million, 3 million, the good players. Still good money. Some star players in the NHL make 5 million, right? So it's like they're still making more money than what the star NHL athletes make. There's some Sarah. So the players feel on top of the world. Oh yeah, they feel on top of the world because they're world famous. Everyone's tuning into the games, and the fans in my games are crazy, sold out crowds. They're asking for autographs wherever they go. Whenever I walk with the players and everything, they're all trending with me and everything. Trending wherever they go. The fans are taking videos pictures and trending on X. It's crazy, and they all feel on top of the world, and they're famous pro athletes, way more famous than NHL athletes. And they're making way more money than what they make in the NHL. They're living the party life and all this stuff. They're feeling on top of the world. The players, I will be partying up with the players, and every team will be partying up after every game, right? They're gonna be partying, living the party life, man. As all pro athletes do, right? Yeah. All pro athletes party up after games all the time, right? They go to clubs, they go to bars, they get drunk, and Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having fun, guys, and party it up. But after you sleep it off, next day it's work. You know what I'm saying? You what? You wake up. You know what I'm saying? You drive in your nice ass car. You know what I'm saying? Because I pay a lot of money, right? And you go to the arena. You gotta watch film and you gotta practice, and everyone has to work hard because I want to win a championship. Obviously, yeah, you want to win championships. Obviously, right? That's how it works. Yeah. So a lot of a lot of chances are a lot of play-by-play guys who work in the NHL. When if their contract is up, they're going to be applying in my league, and a lot of those guys will be working in my league because I can pay them more than what they make in the NHL. NHL sport, I could probably make 150 to 300K. Those guys they make. Well, I'm starting you off at 300K, and the ones who have 10, 20 years experience can start off at $500,000 salary. They really get paid good money, obviously. And the play-by-play guys, they get there per dime too. They'll be staying at a hotel. Their flights are all paid for, and they get like their 300, 400, 500,000 their salary. And the ones who have a lot of experience even start off at $600,000, $700,000 a season, which is good enough. I'm not going to raise the amount. I'm not going to have these guys do me, right? I keep saying that. Yeah, give me a second, guys. I'm going to go up and get some coffee myself. Be back in a sec. Don't hate me, who guys on the show? Okay, so I went up to get some coffee. Yeah. So I think the press will be crazy. Oh yeah, you know how pro leagues when they interview McDavid, Crosby, Ovechkin, you have a bunch of press. They interview them at the. They either interview them in their locker room. They interview them when they're near the rink when they're practicing. They interview them in a press conference room. Yeah, it's something crazy like that, man. And you have the photographers taking pictures and everything. Yeah, it's crazy. They're famous pro athletes, man. More famous than even the NHL athletes. That's why these NHL athletes, yeah, man, you're gonna crush us, man. Like we miss on all that fun. Yeah, they miss on all the fun and all that money, right? Yeah, they would have made all that dough, man. Yeah. That's where you're generous with players. Yeah, I want to make sure the players get paid the dough because they're the product on the ice, obviously, and they're putting on a show and they're the best hockey players in the world. I'll make sure they get paid and they're pro athletes. But if they get greedy and they want more money, I'm not going to have these athletes do me. But I'm making sure I'm paying them enough money that way after their like 15, 20-year, 12-year SHL career, they could retire. And they never have to work again. And some of them might even get sport anchor jobs in my league. And as a sport anchor, I'll start you off with like 3.5 million plus. So there's still some of them are still making But all the athletes working in minor league should be good after they retire. Even the average players should have at least maybe 7, 8 million, 9 million in their bank after they retire, man. Like if you have 9 million in your bank, you never have to work again if you're smart with your money, right? That's why I recommend the sport agents are going to recommend the athletes to invest their money in in real estate, cryptocurrency, restaurants, that kind of stuff. That way you have extra money coming in after you retire, right? Those are good investments to make. As I heard Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, is that his name? The guy who Taylor Swift is dating, they have their own they own a restaurant together, like a steakhouse or something like that. I heard they own. They own like a steakhouse together. Yeah, those guys, right? Yeah. Obviously, I even do a lot of pro athletes invest their money. Yes, they do. The ones who are smart with their money, they do invest their money. The ones who are not smart with their money, they don't invest their money, and they just blow it on what on alcohol, clubbing, and stupid shit. A bunch of cars, a bunch of houses, vacations. And they never really saved any money. They never invested any of their money. And after 5 years, they go broke. Honestly. The athletes who, a lot of the pro athletes who go broke are the athletes who are not stars. The ones who made like a few million, those are the ones who go broke because they're not smart with their money. Whereas usually the star players are good, obviously, in pro leagues because they made too much money. They made their 20 million, 15 million, 17 million, 30 million. What they're making that money after they retire, those guys are good. And they invested their money in businesses. They have investments. Obviously. Yeah. But the sport agents will tell the athletes to invest their money. I recommend you invest some of your money in businesses, man. Do real estate, start up a restaurant, do cryptocurrency, stocks. Like they're gonna tell them to invest their money and stuff, obviously. And so chances are a lot of the athletes will invest. They don't have to, but some of them will obviously invest their money in other investments. That way, when they retire, they have a lot of money in the bank and they have more money coming in. Obviously, from their real estate, their restaurants, or their cryptocurrency, or their stocks. That's what I'm saying. What about you, Ivan? Well, no, I don't need to invest my money. I'm making my tens of billions. I'm making more enough money. I don't have to invest my money, right? Because I'm making, I don't know, like my 85 billion a season. Something crazy. 90 billion a season. Something crazy. That's why the players want a raise, because it's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair, Ivan. You're making way more money than us guys, man. I know I'm making more money than you, man, but I'm the main event. And why? I'm much bigger than your previous longer, but I'm not going to have you guys do with me. This is good enough. I'm not going to have you guys do with me, Sarah. Yeah. Yeah, my coffee's almost ready. I think I might get a beer after this. If I get a beer, I'm $5 short. No, I'm like $3 short. Yeah. Well, I have my can, so I should be good, right? It's a lot of work set that pro league. Yeah, I have to put like $30 of my money into the league. Something crazy. Yeah. Listen, guys, my coffee's ready. All right, guys, sorry for my wait. I'm craving a beer. After this, I think I'm gonna get a beer. Walk this or get a beer. I'll just show you guys, right? Yeah. Yeah, man, if you're a star player in the SHL and you're putting on a show, that's glory. And the whole league is buzzing about you and the other star players. Yeah. I'll ultimately be the main event, obviously, because I'm black. I'm a star player, but the other star players in the league are going to be the main event with me too, obviously, right? They're going to be the main event with me too, obviously. Yo, you're just a fucking dick, man. If you do that, you're going to crush us, man. We gotta deserve, man. You want to do evil to me, so you gotta deserve, right? Yeah. Well, I guarantee you some of these NHL athletes will get jobs in my league. And some might even get a coaching opportunity, even a GM opportunity. GM is less risky than coaching because you're what? You're responsible for drafting the players, scouting the players, and signing the players, obviously. But if your team is not producing after a couple seasons, you can get fired. It's risky, obviously. And coaching is very risky. But I guarantee you there will be some NHL athletes who are like, I don't know, you see some athletes, they're like they got like a coaching job in my league. They're a head coach for one of the teams. But if you have a losing season and you don't produce, the GMs are gonna fire your ass, right? If you have like a losing season, they're gonna can your ass, man. That's why a safer option is sport anchors. Sport anchor is safer, but like these edge athletes have dreams, obviously. Yeah, I can't play in your league, but I would love to be a legendary coach. Be a coach and have like 3-4 championships and be a legendary, make it to your SHL Hall of Fame as a coach, right? Yeah, they have because they can't play anymore, right? Like, duh. Well, hey, guys are sitting around. Yeah. Yeah. But just because you're an amazing player doesn't mean you're going to be an amazing coach. As Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player in NHL history, was a horrible coach. He wasn't that great of a coach. And I heard Tom Brady had coaching opportunities, but he turned it down. He doesn't want to coach. He prefers to be a sport anchor. I understand sport anchor is less risky. You don't have to worry about losing your job as a sport anchor, right? You get paid your money. You just put on a show as talking about the players, the teams, and all that stuff. Whereas coaching, if you have losing seasons, they fire. That's how it works in pro sports, right? It's not a stable job, pro sport coaching in pro sports. The only coaches that stay that keep their job for like 7. The coach is an amazing coach if the coach is still working for that team as a coach for like 8+ years. They've been a head coach for maybe 8, 9, 10 years, 11 years. That's how you know those are great coaches. Those are rare talent coaches. Obviously. Like Bill Belichick. Obviously. But Bill Belichick is a bit questionable because after Tom Brady left, his team was no longer wasn't became an average team. So it's like, was Bill Belichick really the success of the Patriots, or was it Tom Brady? And I believe it was because of Tom Brady the Patriots were successful. Obviously, it wasn't because of Bill Belichick. As after Tom Brady leaves to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bill Belichick is now, he looks like an average coach. His team had losing seasons. They didn't make the playoffs. And no NFL team wanted to pick him up. And now he's working in the NCAA. And his team in the NCAA is not doing that good either, right? So it's like, the Bill Belichick thing is questionable, obviously. Don't hate guys from saying, yeah. Don't hate Bill from saying, yeah. 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 Wyven, who do most like NFL analysts, sport anchors say is the greatest NFL head coach ever? They used to talk about Bill Belichick being the greatest head coach ever, but now because when Tom Brady left and his team went bad after that, now it's questionable, obviously. So Bill Belichick's legacy was kind of destroyed after Tom Brady left, obviously. Is he really the reason for the Patriots' success, or was it Tom Brady? And I believe it's Tom Brady, obviously. Yeah. Obviously. Tom Brady and Buccaneers were a not bad team. Tom Brady goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He also takes that team to a Grey Cup. Like, the guy's a fucking what? He brings like the winning effect with him, whatever team he goes to. Yeah, yeah, that's how good Tom Brady is. Tom Brady's the kind of quarterback. If he went to a losing team, he can probably take that team to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl because that's how good he is, man. That's why he's the greatest NFL quarterback ever in history. Right? I don't think there's anyone better than Tom Brady. I think all you Americans are, yeah, even Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady's the greatest NFL quarterback ever in history, right? Yeah. Yeah, Rock, you got Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is amazing too. He'll be an NFL legend too, but he's not Tom Brady. I don't think he's going to get 7 rings. He might get 4, maybe 5. I don't think he's going to get 7. He might be lucky to get 5, Mahomes, but he's not going to get 7. But he will be one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks ever in history, assuming he doesn't flop in the next couple of years in this season. Don't hate me, Patrick, I'm saying, but I mean, he's an amazing quarterback. He already has 3 Super Bowls. But last season, he didn't do that good. He got injured, and his team didn't make the playoffs. So it's like, yeah. And he didn't take a pay cut. I was mistaken. No, like what they did was they gave him a $50 million bonus instead. And they didn't include it as a part of his salary. Because Patrick Mahomes is a greedy pig. He probably didn't, yeah, he's a greedy pig, Patrick Mahomes. Honestly, he's greedy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a greedy pig, man. I want that $50 million. Yeah, he's greedy. Honestly, Patrick Mahomes, right? He wants that money. Yeah. Greedy pig. That's why you got to be careful with the greedy athletes out in your league. Yeah, there's some players you might demand $50 million. My guys, Don't ever pay a player $50 million. They're not worth that. Yeah, right. When Patrick Mahomes made $50 million in the NFL, I know he did, guys, but I'm not going to pay you more than $32 million as a star hockey player. You're not worth any more than that. I'm giving you, with your league revenue, you're making about $50 million, guys. You're making like your $50 million. $32 million, $14 million of league revenue. Obviously, that's what? That's 40. How much is that? And you get your magazine money. Yeah. So 32 million plus 14, 46 million. Then with your magazine money, let's say 4 million magazine money, you made your $50 million. But there is no endorsement deals in my league because I'm not selling the gates. Yeah. You make your $50 million, man. You're making more money, guys, on average more money than all these NBA, even NFL athletes. Patrick Mahomes is the exception. He's making more than all the star players in my league, except for the generational talent. The generational talent in my league are even making more than Patrick Mahomes with their earnings. Obviously, they're making even more than him. Obviously, 40 million for 2 seasons. That's 80 million. 20 million league revenue. That's 40 million. That's 120 million in 2 years. That's more than what Patrick Mahomes is making in the NFL. Well, on average, guys, you're making more than the other pro athletes in the other leagues. I'm still making sure you're getting paid, but I'm not peaking any higher than 32 million. I could easily have some players make 40, 50, but they're not worth it. I'm not having guys do me. I'm giving you league revenue, guys. Obviously. Because if you pay a non-generational player, Ivan, $50 million and you give them 20 million league revenue, 40 million league revenue, they made 74 million in that one season. They're not worth that, Ivan. They're ripping you off, man. Even Tom Brady and Michael Jordan are not worth that. And Patrick Mahomes are not worth that kind of money. Yeah. As in my opinion, the best players ever who played pro sports are not worth any more than maybe a $50 million contract. That's their peak, man. Anything over that, they're duping the league and you're overpaying the players, man. They're not God, they're not me. I don't think I'm saying, yeah. Because I'm worth my tens of billions. Yeah, if you're so fucking big, you're worth you're 100. Yeah, I'm worth my 180 billion, guys, this season because I'm so big. Obviously, nobody could afford me in the world. I'm too big. That's why God gave me the keys, because that way I can make that kind of money, right? Because the gates knock on the doors on me. They locked everything on me, man. So wicked people. And that money off the book is mine. I'm not touching my money. That money's mine. I'm not going to have you take my money when you make all the money. Are you crazy? These billions are for me, BJ. It's not for you. No, Williams. And yeah, it's for me, BJ. It's not for you. Yeah. Well, you have Olympic Games, Ivan. Of course I will. I'm going to have Olympic Games, Team Canada. You know how you had the recent hockey Olympic Games? Yeah. I'm going to have Olympic Games. Team Canada, Team USA, Team Russia, Sweden, Finland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, all that stuff. But I saw the Team Canada versus Team USA highlights. Amazing game, by the way. Team Canada outperformed Team USA. They should have won that game. Team USA just got lucky and they scored in the end. Obviously, because the Canadians are better. The Canadian hockey players are better than the American hockey players. Canadian hockey players are the best hockey players in the world. Best players in the world. That's why the NHL scouts, they salivate over the talent for the hockey players, right? They're the best players in the world. And the Americans are number 2, obviously, in hockey. Whereas football, it's the opposite. Americans are number 1 by far. Canadians are a close second, obviously. But the Americans are a bit more talented than Canadian players. Obviously. That's why the CFL scouts, they salivate over the American talent. Even more than the Canadian talent, right? They salivate over the Canadian talent too, but they salivate more over the American talent because it's so high and it's so good. That's what they salivate over in the CFL. Yeah, the talent's so good, Ivan. You salivate over it. That's why they have most of the guys with the stars, right? As I explained in my recent videos. Yeah. So there is no endorsement deals in your league. No, because I do not sell to the gates. I'm not, my league will not have any sponsors, obviously. And there will be no company that wants to endorse the athletes. I don't sell to the gates, guys. It's behind the scenes, obviously. Obviously. Because I have the keys, I don't need sponsors. I can pay the bills myself. I have the keys to the kingdom. I can easily afford to pay the bills myself. I have the keys to the kingdom, right? Yeah. Yeah, the board goes, yeah, even like with the season ticket holders, the merch sales, food concession sales, magazine sales, game sales, and the online subscription fee sales, I'll make my billions off that. As hundreds of millions of people are going to be purchasing the subscription fee to watch the games. 500, 800, even a billion people. So I have something crazy. 500, 600 million people around the world are going to be purchasing the subscription fees. That's like 80 billion, and with the other sales, you're looking at like 100 plus billion in sales. The league is doing it in revenue, man. Something crazy. It'll blow the NFL water, man. That's why the NFL and the NBA and NHL and all these leagues are gonna go into a panic. Obviously, they're gonna panic because they can't compete with Ivan O'Mara, right? Ivan O'Mara is king. He made like his 55 billion off his book. He has the keys to the kingdom. Ivan has the keys. We can't compete with the SHL, with his SHL league. They're gonna panic, obviously. Yeah, and all these athletes are gonna panic too. They're scared about their careers. No one really cares about them that much anymore, right? I'll hear you guys. I'm saying, yeah, they're not me. They're not why. They're gonna panic, obviously. Especially the NHL athletes, because they're hockey players, right? But even the basketball, pro basketball players, pro football players, they're gonna go into a little bit of a panic because they can't compete with me, obviously, right? Why? Yeah. Yo, we can't compete with you, man. You're too fucking powerful. You're too big. You're too special. You're fucking why. You're king now. We can't compete with Ivan. They can't compete with Ivan, obviously. Just like Hollywood will go into a panic when I start Scotch Entertainment. If I start that pro hockey league, hypothetically speaking, all these pro leagues, the big four leagues, are going to go into a panic. Yeah. Going to go into a panic, obviously. Because they can't compete with my SHL Pro Hockey League, right? Yeah. They can't compete with my SHL Pro Hockey League. Yeah, man. The NFL is now a small, puny league compared to my league. As my league will be doing 100 plus billion in revenue, guys. So compare that to the 20 billion the NFL is doing now. The NFL is now a small, little, puny league. Obviously, Ivan's SHL Hockey League is like the big monopoly league. And the big four leagues, even though they're the big four, they're small, puny leagues now compared to my league. NFL peaks at about 20 billion in revenue around there. Yeah, now it's a puny league compared to my league. My league is doing 100, 130, 140 billion in revenue. Something crazy. Yeah. That's why the gates want to sell it. They don't want you making that money. Yeah. Yeah, they don't want me making that kind of money. That's why they want me to sell. That way they can dupe me and give me like $20, $30 million off my book. Are you fucking crazy? My house, guys, too, man. That money is mine. You're not touching it, man. It's for me. My life is not for you. You already make your choice around the world. This money's for me, BJ. Yeah. Yeah. But I can't picture the NFL panicking. No, like if I start that league, the NFL, even the NFL, the fucking NFL, the biggest pro sport league in North America, the NFL is now going into a panic because they can't compete with Ivan. Yeah, I mean, if Ivan's a pro hockey player, he's a star player, and he starts that hockey league, it's gonna blow our league out of the water. You can pay these players way more money than what we pay the NFL players on average, right? And it'll have much more. It'll be more popular. Yeah, it'll be more popular than the NFL, guys. Yes, it's And the NFL's fucking popular, guys. Yeah. Yeah. NFL is very popular. It's a huge sport league in the States. Yeah. NFL averages 100 million people in America watching the fucking Super Bowl, man. 100 million people, man, tuning into the Super Bowl on average for each Super Bowl. That's crazy. Yeah, man. It's huge, yeah, NHL. Even that league is smaller than my league. Obviously, that you're looking at, like, I don't know, 500, 800 million people around the world, a billion people around the world tuning into my, even more, 1.3 billion people in the world. Something crazy tuning into my games, man. Something crazy. Yeah. Some Sarah. A billion people age when we was blowing the NFL water. Even the NFL going into a panic. Yeah, we're a big league, but compared to Ivan, we're puny and small. Yeah, they don't have the keys like me, right? They're puny small for me. We don't have you guys. Yeah. Like, you know how the CFL is a puny small little league compared to the big four leagues? You kind of have that now with the NFL and the NBA and the SHL. It's a puny small little league now compared to my league. Yeah. Ivan has deeper pockets than us, man. He can pay the players more and he can build better facilities. Yeah, my SHL arenas will be better facilities than even the NFL. We'll be building better facilities than the NFL. I mean, no, the teams will have higher operating budgets than the NFL too. Yeah. I'm spoiling the players more too than even the NFL players, right? And the NBA players. Yeah. And the fans are going to love these SHL athletes even more than these pro athletes in the other leagues. Yeah, it's crazy. That's funny, I know. Yeah. You gotta train, I know. Hire the best hockey trainers to train me. Power skating, stick handling, hone my stick handling craft, power skating, and shooting. And after that, I have to start practicing with the best hockey players. That's how I get better. Yeah. Yeah. So you want to do practicing, yeah, scrimmages. Obviously. To practice, Ivan, like once you hone your craft in stick handling, Ivan, shooting and power skating, now you actually have to scrimmage against other hockey players. That's part of your training. Obviously. Scrimmage with other hockey players. That's how you know how good you are as a hockey player, Ivan. It's one thing to put on a show and be amazing singer and everything, but like, how do you perform against other great players? That's the key. You have to, you know what I'm saying, you have to really practice. And the best way to get better, you have to keep scrimmaging against other players. That's how it works, right? Yeah. And you're gonna have to start practicing your shooting with a goalie. See how good you are with your accuracy and your vision. You have to practice. That's key, obviously, right? You have to practice, obviously. And your stick handling for deking out players. Yeah, you got to practice it, obviously. You think you'll be a generational talent? Maybe, or probably not. Maybe I'm a star player, but I'm not a generational talent. I'm not unique on the eyes. I don't know. We'll see what happens, obviously, right? I do have the genes, right? Genes of God. Right? Genes of God I have. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have the Olympics take place, Ivan. Well, it's different countries for each Olympic event, right? One event I'll do in Canada, one event I'll do in the States, one event I'll do in Europe, in Switzerland, and Italy. They played the recent Olympic game in Italy. You can play it wherever you want to play it. Obviously, do the players get paid for the Olympics? Yes, I'll pay the players for the Olympics too, but they don't get like millions for it, but they still make money for it. Yeah. Pay the players like $250K for the Olympics. That's good enough. You got a $2,000 check for playing like, I don't know, 10 games. That's a good deal. $200,000. $200,000 is good for those guys, right? That's a good deal. They get a little bit of money for the Olympics, but they don't get paid that much money for it. Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to play in the Olympic Games for Team Canada, you have to be a star player. That's how you make it into the team, right? If I'm a star player, I will be playing on Team Canada with the other players, obviously. And that will have crazy buzz too, man. Crazy buzz, the Olympics, right? Yeah. Will you be doing conditioning? Of course, I have to do conditioning. As playing hockey is tiring, man. Skating on the ice is death to the legs, man. That's why you have to have training, conditioning training for that, obviously. That being shit. That's why I have to do conditioning too. A little bit of conditioning, right? Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna get a beer after this. Yeah. If I get a beer, I'm through. I should have 30 cans to at least get a 20 pack on Friday, right? But I want a beer. I'm craving a beer. Walk the store, get my beer, right? By the time I arrive back home, you guys will enjoy the show with me, obviously. Yeah. You have to come up with a theme song for your SHL League, Ivan, too, and a logo for it, too. Now in the NFL, you have da 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 da. You know the NFL, yeah, you have to have a theme song for the SHL too, obviously. It's a lot of work, man. Yeah, man. It's a lot of work. Fuck you are. You're such a fucking dick, man. If you do that, man, you're gonna crush us SHL players, Ivan. Yeah, they're gonna be crushed. Will they be crushed? Oh yeah, they're gonna be crushed, man. And they're gonna feel like shit. Yeah, man, you're gonna crush us, Ivan. Like we're legends in the fucking gatekeepers in NHL, and your SHL blows the NHL water. And these athletes are way more famous than we are, and we miss on all that fun, Ivan. The buzz with the fans, the crazy fans, the trends, and we miss on all that dough too, guys. They miss on all the dough, man. It would have made way more money in my league. It would have made playing in the NHL, right? Yeah. Star players in the NHL sign like 190, 120, 130 million deals. Star players in the NHL sign. Not so much good players are making money. Good players are signing like their 190, 120, 130 million deals in my league for their big mega like 8-10 year contract. That's a lot of money for a good player. That's how much star players make in the NHL. And the star players you sign, they're mega deals, man. 200 plus million deals, to 180, 170 to maybe to $300 million deals, 350 million deals. Star players sign in that league, right? 200 million deals, 230 million deals, 250 million deals, 300 million deals. NHL athletes don't make that, man. I told you the NHL athletes are the most underpaid pro athletes out of the big four, right? They get their millions, but they get the lower end of it, right? Like they peak at like 16 million star NHL athletes. Connor McDavid peaked at 13.5. Sidney Crosby peaked at 12, man. Only like 12 million is a lot of money, but I mean, for a star player, they deserve a bit more of that. But the NHL can't afford to pay the athletes that. They don't have the kind of pockets that the other leagues have. They have deep pockets. They're still making their millions of players in the NHL, but they're not making the kind of money that the NBA and NFL athletes are making. The star players, right? They're not making the money those guys are making. Now, I believe the hockey players do deserve more money, but the league can't afford to pay them more money because the NHL is only peaking at about $7 billion a season in revenue. A lot of money, but it's not like the 13, 20 billion the NFL and the NBA are making. You guys understand? So they're more limited in how much they can pay the players. They still have deep pockets, really deep pockets in the NHL, as they're paying the players their millions. But the star players in the NHL, they get the lower end of it. They peak at like $60 million in the NHL. Because hockey is not as popular. It's pretty popular in the States, but it's not as popular as football and basketball. That's why you NHL athletes are the most underpaid players, because the market for hockey in the States is not as big as football and basketball. That's why you NHL athletes are underpaid compared to the other star players in the other leagues. That's why you guys, we're making our millions. We're not, you're not making the money the other guys are making in the other leagues, right, guys? Because hockey is not as popular in the States compared to basketball and football. That's why you're not making as much money. Even though you're making a lot of money, you're not making the money that the other guys are making, obviously. As Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, and McDavid deserve at least their $30 million a season, 25, 30, even 40 million a season those guys deserve as generational talent, but the league can only pay them like 12 million, 16 million a season, whatever it is, right? 12 million a season because they can't afford to pay them that. They don't have enough cap space, right? Yeah. Guys from Sarah, yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah. Why do you think hockey's more entertaining than football? It's close. I might give the edge to football over hockey, but I think hockey is a more entertaining sport than basketball. Obviously. I don't think basketball is, and baseball is obviously the most boring of the sport. Baseball is boring, pretty boring. But I think hockey is even more entertaining to watch than basketball, because the thing about basketball, it's what? It's just scoring. Like, scoring in the NBA doesn't really mean anything, right? Because the players just score left and right, back and forth. Like, they score like 100, 200 points a game. So it's just like, it's entertaining, but it's just constant scoring back and forth. So the game can be a bit even though it's very entertaining, it's just constant scoring back and forth, right? Obviously. Whereas football and hockey, it's not like that. Like you know what I'm saying? For football, you have drives. You march through the drive and they score. It gets picked off. You have a couple of drives where the players don't score. In hockey, like it takes time for teams to score. Scoring means a lot more in football and hockey than it does in basketball. Because basketball is just back and forth scoring, just left and right. That's why I don't find it as entertaining as football and hockey. Basketball, obviously. I love basketball. Basketball's entertaining too, but it's not as entertaining as like hockey and football, right? But hockey is a very entertaining sport. I know you Americans don't really like hockey, but man, I've seen some NHL games, man, and highlights, man. It's fucking entertaining shit, man. Entertaining shit. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. So even after you play, yeah, if I start a pro hockey league, after I play, I don't know, 25 years in the league, and hopefully I become a Hall of Famer legend, obviously, my goal, I would now get into coaching, and my goal would be to be a legendary coach. But the league does have, the GMs do have the power to fire me if my team loses. They have that power to fire me. Guys from Sarah. Yeah. But before I even choose to go into coaching, like, but be, if playing in the league for 25 years and watching film and how the systems work in hockey, I would study it, and that's how I design a system for my players. And hopefully I be a legendary coach. But I mean, coaching is tough, man. Got to win championships. You got to have a winning season. It's tough being a coach, right? That's tough. Obviously. That's what the SHL pulled the SHL wire. Anyways, guys, this is Rob, guys, on my show. This is Iron Man saying out. Peace. SHL by the NHL, guys. Peace out, guys. You shoot, you score. Is Ivan Amara. Peace out, guys. 1 a.m. Enjoy the show.